Hello everybody, in today's video we're going to be talking about how to manage large groups when you're delivering PE lessons or other sports coaching sessions. So I've put together 7 different aspects of delivering to large groups, which I think are all really important. The 7th one is definitely the most important one for me. So I'm going to start on the first one, which is having clear instructions and clear expectations. So for me, if I've got 30 children in a session and they are all in here, and it's a large area you're going to have, and you're going to have 30 different kids moving around in this sort of session, this is and could be a very dangerous or unsafe environment that you're creating if you don't manage it safely. So clear expectations from the start, little simple things like if you're in a hall, thinking about the area that you're in, how quickly can the children move, when you're asking children to do certain things, making sure they do it in the right way, they're sensible, they're safe, and having those clear instructions. So for me, if it was a new group, or even if it was a pre-existing group, whenever I start a session, I will either have all 30 probably have just walked in a line to me, in a large group, and I will line them all up on the outside of the area in a straight line so they can all see me, they can all hear me, and I'll explain my expectations for the session, making sure that to have fun today, we're going to have fun by doing the right stuff and fun through the lesson. So that's really important. But also my expectations, behaviour, I'm going to sort of just a quick outline on that. So that's one way of doing it. The other way I like to do is as they come in, they've got an arrival activity. So straight away they pick up a hockey stick and a ball and they are dribbling around the area. So straight away they are engaged and active. They've got something to do. And once they've sort of calmed down a little bit, then I would put them all back on the line so I could run through those expectations. So depending on how you want to do it, just have those clear expectations and clear instructions. Now, the second one for me is demonstrations. And demonstrations are going to be key when you're using large groups. What you don't want when you're teaching is to have to explain one thing and then repeat it and repeat it and repeat it because children don't understand it. So demonstrations are a very good way to make sure everybody understands what they're doing. So, for example, if I was going into a simple piggy in the middle game, what I would probably do is ask all of my children to go onto the outside. So I'd have them all on the outside now, and they're all lined up again so they can see the area. And I'm just going to have my green team playing against the red team with the orange as the ball. Okay, and I'll have a little demonstration where all of them can see, and I'll probably choose the 3 children who I think will understand it pretty quickly. And I'll explain the game, say, right, you're not allowed to run with the ball, but if you don't have the ball, you can move to get into space. So this person can move into space, they pass the ball in here, and this person's trying to intercept. So I'm explaining the game, but I'm also showing them with children the same age as them so they understand how it works. So hopefully, once that's working, I can then get them into the group. So after my demonstration, I'd let them go, off they go, and then again, we might have 10 different groups if I'm working in groups of 3. And I need to just make sure that everybody understands. So after a minute or two, I'm going around making sure everyone's doing it right. Now, there's a few groups who are doing it right. Again, I'm going to pause. I'm going to use a technique called catching in. So I'm going to find a group who are doing it right, maybe a different group to who did the demo. And I'm just going to ask everybody to pause where they are, have a watch of what this group's doing, what they're doing really well. Fantastic, off we go. Hopefully by that point, they start to understand a little bit better. Okay, so my third point is now having a whistle or a clear stop instruction. Now, this is really important when you've got 30 children because children tend to have an attention span of about 30 seconds before they're going to start getting a bit fidgety and wanting to get moving again. So for you as a coach, you need to be able to get them to stop straight away because as soon as that one person stops at the start, if it takes 30 seconds for you to get everybody to stop, then that's that one child's attention span sort of starting to go already. So you need to make sure you can stop children straight away. So one technique you might use is a whistle, and having clear expectations on the use of the whistle. Whistles are great, especially in a loud. So if you're doing a basketball lesson, you've got 30 kids all bouncing a basketball, fantastic use because it sort of pierces through the sound and children can hear it really easily. But you also might have other instructions. If you're in a hall and there's lessons going around you, you might not want to blow the whistle straight away. So one technique we use at youth sports is hands on top. That means stop. So as the coach or the educator, I would say hands on top, and that's when all the children have to repeat back, that means stop. Does they put their hands on their head as well. So that's a really good use of a way to stop a large group. You might have other techniques that you use, but being able to stop children straight away whenever you've got 30 kids is so important for being able to get that attention span, get them all stopped. You tell them the instruction, and then you get out of there. And it's really quick, 30 seconds, and that needs to be efficient. The fourth one is preparation. Okay, now preparation is obviously really key whenever you're teaching, whenever you're coaching, but preparation with 30 children is so much more important than when you only have 10. So, for example, if I'm doing a netball lesson, or let's say I'm doing a netball lesson and I've got 15 balls, I haven't got enough magnets, I've got 15 balls over here and they're all in the bag. So if I then say, right, we're going to go into pairs and we're going to practice our throwing. Now, if I get all the 15 people to all come into the bag and they're trying to rummage around and get the ball, it's going to be really difficult. So simple things like getting the balls out on early. What you can do as well is you can get a cone and then just put the ball on top so it stays still. So if you're not out there for the whole lesson, maybe you have to go and collect them from a class or something, they're not going to roll all over the place. Put them on a cone, put the ball on top, and you're good to go. Also, other things with preparation, your cones and your small-sided games that you might be going into. So I like to finish my PE lessons with small-sided games. So at the start of my lesson, I've already set these areas out, and that means then I can go into my lesson. I can literally just put a line of cones down, and I'm ready to go. I've got my pitches already lined out. So little things like that, preparation, so you're not having to get 30 children staying still whilst you lay out your pitches. You need to try and keep everything as quick as possible so you can move them straight into the next session. So the fifth one is using small-sided games. And small-sided games are a great way to get children engaged, get them active, and get them sort of focused within your lesson. So don't be afraid of going into small-sided games. So if I'm doing a basketball lesson, I'm not going to have 15 children versus 15. I'm going to split them up into 3 versus 3s, maybe 4 versus 4s. And within that, I'm going to have each pitch, without telling the children, I'm going to have my stronger ability up on this end. And then as I feel like they're maybe still getting used to sport, maybe they're a little bit weaker in sport, is I'd put them over on this side. So that means that you've got that you haven't got a weaker child on the pitches where they're unlikely to touch the ball because they're not as confident as the other children. So that's a really good way to manage your small-sided game. So with the area you've got, try and get into those matches, really help you. The sixth one is 3 is the magic number. Now, 3 is the magic number in PE, and I use it all the time, especially if you can, whenever you're going into groups, I would always try and use groups of 3 because it helps to improve the concentration. It also helps sort of make friendships and stuff, because rather than going into a 4, where sometimes you can end up having like lots of 2 within that 4, or if you have a 2, sometimes you have a leader and a follower. As a 3 is a nice sort of balance between creating like it's a teamwork, a good way to develop teamwork and try and get everybody's ideas to matter and to count. So whenever I'm going into games, I try and use 3 as a magic number. I definitely recommend doing that. And the 7th one, when you're managing 30 children, is being able to stay on top of that behaviour management and to praise good behaviour. So when you praise good behaviour and catch children in, it really helps improve the quality and the behaviour in the whole group. So if there's one child who's still playing and they should have stopped, and there's one child who's sat down ready to listen, rather than my attention going on that child, I'm going to put my attention on the child over here who's doing the right thing. So I go, oh, well done, fantastic, you're doing the right thing, you sat down nicely. And what happens is the kid who's over there who wants the attention comes and does the right thing. And as they come and do the right thing, I go, yes, well done, you sat down listening as well. Now, oh, we've got another person. And that really helps you sort of create a positive environment within your lesson. Rather than focusing on the negative, focus on the positive, and hopefully that sort of draws more children into being doing the right sort of thing. So I think that's the biggest one for me, and I do that in all of my sessions. Focus on good behaviour, create a positive environment. And if you're wanting to help children learn, that's so important. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about PE lessons, sports coaching, and all that sort of stuff, please do drop me a like or a follow on YouTube, subscribe, and I'd love to see you at the next video. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.